Open screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today we'll discuss about how to create the Docker file with all essential commands. Doc, creating a Docker file is very important, and configuring the things also very important as part of the Docker. Okay, let's we learn what are the commands are there in the Docker and how we can utilize the commands in the Docker file. To create your own custom images, we make use of the principle called Dockerfile. Docker can help you to build custom images by reading the instructions from a Docker file. Instructions nothing but the commands from the Docker file. A Docker file is a text document that contains all the commands a user could call on the command line to assemble an image. So for creating an image, whatever the important things are required, right? Those everything will be going to be right in the Docker file. Once you have done writing the Docker file, you can use the build command to create an automated build that executes the several command line instructions in the succession. Nothing but if the things everything is good, then it will allow you to create the Docker file. I mean the Docker image. Docker file consists of two blocks mainly. First one is comments and commands plus arguments. These are the two blocks will be there. Commands plus arguments is one word and commands is another word. So both combination we are call it as a Docker file. You will need to create a file with the name Dockerfile only. Either D capital, D small, anything is fine, but the file name must and should be Dockerfile only. So to add the instructions in the instructions for the image. So following are the instructions that may use, you can include in a Docker file. So the first thing is from. From instruction will use to last Dockerfile we written, right? In that we remember, right? So we'll use this from instructions for downloading the image from the Docker Hub. That's a base image. It will not initialize a new build stage and sets the base image for the subsequent instructions. Yes, such a valid image, valid Docker file must starts with a from instruction. So the image can be any valid image. From can appear multiple times within a single Docker file. So from can appear multiple times in a single Docker file. So like this image will be an run Apache application is there, right? With a hash that is called as a command. Then from space CentOS is there, right? From is a command, CentOS is the argument. Then you guys clear on comment plus comment, then commands plus arguments. Any question? Next command will be arg. Arg nothing but argument. This is the only instruction that may precede from in the Docker file. Precede nothing but before the Docker, before the from command, any other command is coming in the valid Docker file means that's arg command only. From instruction supports variables that are declared by any arg instructions that occur before the first from. The ARG declared before a from is outside of the build stage, so it cannot be used in any instruction after the from. Like this image will be run an Apache application is there, right? If you can see this, there's a comment ARG version is equal to version latest we given, then from CentOS $, then within a flower bracket version will be calling. That means version is replaced with latest. That is the means from CentOS latest will be replaced. Then label. A label is a key value pair and adds the metadata to an image. Run. This instruction will execute and commands in the new layer of the top of the current image and commit the result. Run command is very important, guys. Using run command only, we used to run the multiple commands. Resulting committed image will be used for the next subsequent builds in the Docker file. So like this, label version 1.0, label description, this is the Docker image, anything we can able to give it. Using run, we can install the packages, we can create a folder, we can create a file. You can see -y, -y, install Java, ampersand, install git -y, like this. Then cmd command, run command, cmd command. This is similar to run command only. I mean, cmd command also looks like a run command only, but that is used to execute commands on the container. Remember, guys, cmd command will use to execute the commands on the container. The difference is that run command get executed when you build the image, and cmd gets executed when you run the image as a container. That means one word about image and run and cmd means run is for image, cmd is for container. Keep this in the mind. This instruction will get executed when you run the container after building the image, like this cmd mkdir. We can put some path, touch, then you can put some path like this. Then expose command. This expose instruction informs Docker that the container listens on the specific network port at runtime. You can specify whether the port listens on the TCP or UDP, and the default is TCP if the protocol is not specified. To publish the port when running the container, use the -v flag on the Docker run command. Like this, we can put the port numbers also, expose 80, 8080. Right, you can able to put out the port numbers. Then next is environment variable env. Env instructions sets the environment variable to the variables. This value will be in the environment for the all subsequent instructions in the build image. This you can define the env instructions in the two forms. One, env key value, env key space equal to value. Like this also we can able to specify. env dir is equal to dir space /var www.html. env dir is equal to /var www.html destination home ec2 -user. Like this you can able to create. Add. The add instruction copies new files, directories, or remote files URLs from the source and adds them to the file system of the image at the path of the destination. Okay. Add supports multiple sources and resources. Add also supports the use of wildcards in the source. Like this. Something you want to copy from one place to another place means you can give. Look at add, left side, right side, two values are there, right? /home is the local Docker desktop, and /var www.html is inside the container. Then add /home star, then the path, add http, then the path. If you can give this is in this way, so this is going to download the things and it will be keep it ready in the container. Copy. The copy instruction copies a new files or directories from the source and adds them to the file system of the container at the destination path. But you can specify multiple source resources to copy the files. Also supports wildcards in the source. That means copy also supports the wildcards. Like this, copy /home the path. Like this also you can give. Entry point. This instruction allows you to configure a container that will run as an executable. Both the cmd and entry point instruction define what commands get executed when you run the container. Docker file should specify at least one of the cmd or entry point commands. Entry point, so and so, like this. Entry point we can give like this. Then volume. Instructions creates a mount point that the specified name and make it as a holding externally mounted volumes in the native host of the containers. the volume can be JSON array or volume varlog or a plain string with multiple arguments such as volume varlog or volume varlog vardb. Like this you can able to give. So this is mount point. Like when you guys do dff and h in the Linux server, right? This will gonna show the mount points, right? Same way, like you are going to mount a particular folder with particular path. That is the mount point. That's a volume, like a volume varlog. Like this we can able to give. Then user, if at all you want to create any users, right, we can able to create a users also using user command. The user instruction sets the is used to run the commands in the container with a specific user. The instruction sets the username and optionally for the user group to use when the running the image and any run cmd entry point instructions that follow it on the docker file. So like run user add username, username, like this you can able to give. Then work dir. The work dir instruction is used to set the working directory for any run, cmd, entry point, copy, and add instructions that follow in the Docker file. If the work dir does not exist, it will be created even if it is not used in the subsequent Docker file instruction. The work dir instructions can be used multiple times in the Docker file, like work dir slash a, work dir slash var whtml, work dirb, like this can be given. ARG instruction then. ARG instruction defines a variable that users can pass in the build with the build docker build command. Like while building the Docker image, right? That time you can pass the arguments like hyphen build hyphen argument is the name. Then variable name and variable value can be added. If the user specifies a build argument that was not defined in the Docker file, the build output is a warning. A Docker file may include one or more ARG instructions like this ARG folder, ARG file, ARG package. We can give it like this, and we can build it like this. Then another important word is on build. On build instructions adds a trigger to the image to be executed later time when the image is used as the base image for the another build. So the trigger will be executed in the context of downstream build as if it has been inserted immediately after the from instructions in the downstream Docker file. Any build instruction can be triggered as a trigger. Like this trigger modifications base image 1.0 will be ready. Then in that we're going to write some commands like this. Then we can do some modifications on the new image. This is the new image 2.0 is the new image. Okay, here also we can add some commands. Okay, those will be executed in the second image. So health check command, next one. Health check command instruction tells how Docker to test a container to check it is still working. This can detect cases such as web server that is stuck in the infinite loop and unable to handle a new connections even through the server's process still running. When a container has health check specified it has health status, in addition to its normal status, this is initially starting. Whenever a health check passes, it becomes healthy, and after a number of consecutive failures, it becomes unhealthy. That means your container is running, but maybe the web application is not running. So how do you check that? Means using health check command, we can able to check that like this. Okay, the complete the things whatever we discussed, right? Those everything. If you write a Docker file, the important Docker file looks like this. All together, if I combine the commands what we learned so far, right? If everything I can put up means I can build the image like this format. Okay, let me write a Docker file. First, let me log into that. File. So already I wrote the Docker file here. So what I'll gonna do means I'll create one more folder, mkdir files, cd space files, cd space files. So I'm going to create the Docker file here. I'm going to create a new Docker file here. I already wrote the Docker file in other classes. I'll copy paste the same thing because we are writing it will take some time. This is a complete Docker file. If you guys can look at my screen, this is a complete Docker file. So in this Docker file, let me see first ARG latest version. I'm taking Ubuntu, two Ubuntu's will taking from Ubuntu, Debian, two images I'm taking consideration. Then maintainer, label, description. I'm trying to install some packages. Then I don't get okay, downloading something here, where HTML, like this many things I'm trying to create that. Okay. So now what I need to do means, if you guys look at this command here, these two are trying to copy some files to the destination. What is this file? One is index.html, another one is array.html. So those two files should be present in our directory. So here, so I need to create two files. Let me create those two files also. Any sample data we can take for that. So I'll take it here. Okay, so I'll just put up the content like this. So I can put up that here, index.html, escape shoot semicolon WQ, save and come out of this. So I will put up the content for you guys also. Array.html. So I for insert, put the data. Array.html. Put this data. Okay, so now I created the files. Now we're good to build this image. Okay, so we can go ahead and build the image right now. Let me show that how we can able to build this. So first let me see the Docker images. Any images are there? Many are there. Okay, I'll remove this all the images. Docker images minus AQ. Okay, I'm going to build the new image now. Docker image build minus T, image name in this format, colon. Ubuntu Debian custom image, I'm given the name, space, dot nothing but current folder. So Docker image build minus T name, I mean team is tag, then this is the name of the image till here, dot nothing but in the current folder we have the Docker file. Okay, which folder we have the Dockerfile means the current folder we have the Dockerfile. So then enter. So it will be checking the Dockerfile, it will be creating the resources. It will be installing, it will take some time. Okay, images build it. We can verify. We can find Docker space images. You can see that image has been built successfully. This is the image one. Okay, let me share the information with you guys. What I have done. This is for removing the images. This is for creating the container. Now image is ready. Then what we need to do means, now all the commands are executed, but except these commands didn't execute. Unbuild, the name starts with unbuild, right? These commands are not executed. So what we need to do means, make using this, we need to create another Docker file. Okay, let me show that as well. One more Docker file we need to create. Make using this, one more Docker file we need to create. This is the second Docker file I'm writing. So what I'm going to do means, I'll create one more folder here. Here on build, cd space on build, vi Dockerfile, hyphen insert like this. So but we need to change Docker images. So this image we need to put as a source for the another Docker file. In this Docker file, this is the source. That means first line. So this one, remove that, put this one, and remove this gap. Put semicolon, WQ, BQ. So now we need to build this image again. Docker build -t colon So on build custom image 2025 space dot. Now image is built. We can see Docker images. Image is built. This is the latest image. So using this image, I'm going to create the container and will verify all the things. Docker run -it hyphen name on build hyphen container space. This is the name. I'm inside the container now, and you guys can find me root at the right of this path. I'm already in the working directory pwd, present working directory. If I do ls, the things whatever created, everything is reflecting. See, index.html, error.html, abc.txt, error.html, nginx debian.html, onbuild folder, test, like this. Multiple things are reflecting. However, these are provisioned via the Docker file. Now you guys got might be some idea like how this Docker file will work. Correct? So I'm coming out of this control PQ. Even the software also it was installed. Now I want to push this image. Docker push. We can put this value. Then image will be pushed. Based upon the size it will look and it will going to be pushed the image. Okay. Like any questions or any confusions, Raghunatha sir?
No, sir. No, nothing, sir. No one has joined, sir. Myself only.
Sir, might be other people might be busy. Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
They might be having some plans.
Could be, could be. How about AWS, sir?
AWS, maybe you, except you nobody will join, might be. We'll take it on Monday only.
Done, sir. Done, done, sir. Sir, how about these AWS sessions are available on YouTube, sir?
YouTube is available, sir. There's a separate, I mean, same channel only. AWS video set is separate will be there.
Okay. You can share that on later, sir. No problem.
The same link only there, sir. You can refer that. I'll, if you want the channel, that particular, this one also I'll gonna share.
Yes, sir. The channel name, sir.
Right. Okay. Even if you can ask your friends to subscribe and they can watch the videos, sir, if they are from technical background.
I am doing, sir. I am doing it. I am doing it. I have already shared to a couple of friends, and they are very much pleased the way you explain the things. No, they were very, very much happy, and asked them to join the next batch.
Okay. Okay. You can see, sir, this is a 3 minutes ago it's created. It's a 1.18 GB. Why this much means? Because multiple things we're trying to install, right? That's the reason the size of the image has been increased. So is there any way that we can decrease? There could be a way will be there to decrease that. For an example, like in the last, here we wrote the Docker file, right? Here we have an option. So for an example, if you see this, we wrote these commands in a separate line, right? Instead of writing in separate line, what we can do is one run command, one run command, then apt get update -y, ampersand we can able to use as a pipe symbol might be available in the Linux, right? Multiple commands you can put in a single line also. if this all the installation commands are that if all put in a single line, what will happen means it will going to reduce the number of layers, I mean number of commands it will reduce, and along with the size of the Docker file also reduced, and the size of the image also will be reduced. This question definitely they'll ask in the interview. How do you reduce a Docker image size?
Yeah, you shared that answer in the afternoon. I gone through that. Question and answer, the questions, the interview questions you have already shared. I gone through that. You are right. If you go ahead and do that one in single line, definitely it's going to reduce the image of that respective with this one file.
Those are the live interview questions, like those I'm gonna ask in the interview. Those other people's gonna ask in the interview, right? Those are the questions only more people are asking.
So almost similar questions, no, sir? Almost
similar questions only, sir. Like majority, if you attend 10 interviews now, you'll get to know that what the questions will ask in the 11th interview. That's a fact.
Okay. Whatever experience you have, whatever experience of whatever you have, 2 years of experience or 3 years, these are the almost basic questions you can say, repeated questions almost.
Correct.
Okay.
Like this will work.
Done, sir.
So that's the Docker file related ones. Then we need to discuss about the Docker Compose, but we can do it in the next class. In the meantime, we need to install the Docker Compose. The installation part I'll show now, and in the next class we'll continue further. Installation, we require a software configuration should be required. Let me give you the script so that we can install from the script. Okay, so here what we need to do means, maybe we can come out of this path, vi docker-compose.sh, vi docker-compose.sh, I for insert, we can put the code like this, save and come out of this, compose.sh. Okay, so what is there in this? Nothing but Docker is a different, Docker Compose is different. Okay, anyway, in the next class I'm going to explain about it. You will get to know that. So now what I'm trying to do means, by default with the Docker Compose won't come. Docker Compose we need to install explicitly. That's the reason. So I'm installing from this script. If you look at what are these commands means, this is a normal shell scripting commands only. Normal commands only. This I put up in a shell script. Okay, you can see bin bash is a shebang. Then I'm updating the system. Then I'm trying to install the Git, and I'm trying to install the Docker also, and restarting the Docker, enabling the Docker. If Docker already there means this commands will be redundant, not required to run. Okay, but if running also, it won't be make any problem. Then this command will going to download the compose from the GitHub. Look at github.com docker compose release is there. From in this link is going to download the Docker compose file. Once it's downloaded, we need to make this to be executable. That's the reason we're giving chmod is the command we'll use to change the mode, plus x we given. X means executable. Then after that, ln-s command can be used to link the file. Or symlink we call it as. So this one linked with this one, the soft link. Then post docker fn compose space version. If I do that, docker compose version should be printed. That means installation will complete and it should be printed the version. That's what we need to check that. So, okay, how to run this shell script now? sh, then file name. So its installation takes place. Okay, able to see here, Docker compose version is reflecting. This is the version.
But what is the exact difference between only Docker and Docker image and Docker Composer? Why the Docker Compose is used?
Sir, I'll tell you. So far we know how to write the Docker file, correct? Using Docker file, how to build the image also we know so far. And after we build the image, using that image, we can create a container also. So now
Correct.
one Docker file, one Docker image, one Docker image, one Docker container we can create, correct? And now,
Correct, sir.
is there any way that two different containers are interacting here? With using one Docker file, can we able to create two different Docker containers?
We can't, sir. We can't. Single container we can create, sir.
One file,
We're using single Docker file.
even using one Docker image, we can create multiple Docker containers, but all the containers will be same containers only, nothing different.
Correct.
That's the drawback in the Docker. That's the reason. You suppose in the organization, definitely people look for multi-containers. Multiple containers should be required. Such a moment, Docker cannot serve multi-containers, right? Then Docker Compose was generated. What is Docker Compose? Docker Compose is a multi-container architecture. Nothing but, for example, you can treat like this. One is a web application, web server. Web server is one container. DB is another container. Application server is another container. Middleware is another container. Like this, multiple containers you want to interact with one file or one way. You want to interact with each other. Such a moment, Docker Compose will be coming to picture.
Got it, sir. Got it. Got it.
So that means single word about Docker Compose means Docker Compose is a multi-container architecture. The only Docker means Docker is a single architecture, monolithic architecture, ಅಥವಾ standalone container.
Yes, sir. Got it. Got it. Got it. Clear. Clear. Fine.
To the command to execute the shell script. Here we are going to write the YAML file, but in the next class I'm going to show that how to write the YAML file. Using that YAML file, I'm going to show one project also. I'm gonna host one project. That project how it looks like and how the real world project looks like. We'll experiment that in the next class. That means in the Monday class.
Okay, sir. So in most of the companies, I'm going to say in the industries, they are using this Docker Compose itself, no, sir?
Correct, Docker Compose.
Okay, sir. Fine. Got
The
it.
Docker Compose alone it won't work. With the Docker only it will work.
Correct. 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 Yeah. Got it, sir. Got it.
Those will kind of a relation between those. Docker Compose will work with Docker. Docker work with Docker Compose, like that.
Both are interconnected.
Both are interconnected. Docker can run standalone, but Docker Compose alone cannot run. It requires Docker.
Yes. Yes. Got it. Correct. Correct.
Cool there then. Thank you so much.
Thank
For
you,
the
sir. Thanks also. Thanks for your time, sir. Have a nice evening, sir. And have a nice evening, weekend too, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time. Bye.